I'll show you all. What you asking, the question you asked, I can answer it from the Bible. Give me Colossians 3:17. Giving all praise and glory to the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is the forefather of these 12 tribes of Israel, scattered among all nations. Not necessarily in these lands that you see here, but we scattered among all nations as the 12 tribes of Israel. Colossians 3:17.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever ye do, in word or deed, do all by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai.
Right, so everything that we do is going to be in the name of the anointed Savior, who the world falsely called Jesus Christ, because that's not his name. Because the J was invented in 1630 AD. So he couldn't be, his name wasn't Jesus. He didn't speak English when he walked the earth. So that's the name that they created after 1630. And when they created Jesus, to this day, they set this white man by the name of Caesar Borgia up to represent him. When you read the Bible, he was a black man. He had hair, wool, very dark-skinned man, very dark-skinned man, you know. So that's why we come forth to bring the truth and to shut down all the lies that's been taught and how we've been infiltrated with lies. Our brain's been polluted and not washed, because you wash something, you clean it. His story. Yes, his story, right, his story. Now we bring forth our story in sound form because we've been programmed to think the way he would have us think from slavery.
Now, your particular religion...
It's not a religion.
Okay, particular knowledge of human existence, as you know it, is called what?
We are the 12 tribes of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites.
Isn't a polygamy, isn't a polytheism? There's a multiple God understanding of...
Yes, but see, we're not dealing with that. We're not dealing with that. Get who the Most High say he is. Exodus, because you asked that question. Right. Exodus 3 and 15 and 16. And we'll see that not only he's saying it here, we're going to say Hamashiach Yahushai. That's the anointed Savior. We're not saying Jesus Christ, because they still, today, if you went to church, they still have this representing him, which is a lie, right?
And on the walls, it's in their head.
It's in their head, in our people's mind. Our people, the children of Israel, had the most problem with this picture, with horns on it. White folks don't have no problem with that, because they know better. Because I asked them, I said, you think the white man going to come from heaven, from the fourth dimension, to come here and set righteousness on the earth? Never got a yes, ever. Over 20-some years, they ain't never said yes. But our people have a problem because that's how we've been brain polluted to believe that. That's a lie. You look at that picture right there. You seen that Last Supper picture all your life, right? You know, youngster, you like me. You seen that picture all your life, right? But you ain't never really looked at it. You ain't never looked at it deeply.
Well, I know it didn't have the same visage as I have. No, it didn't.
I know, but what I'm saying, but you never really looked at it deeply. I mean, it's like it's got voodoo or something on it. Our people, that's the Last Supper, but they ain't never really looked deep into that picture to see what's in that picture. It's sad, man. I mean, that's why I say how lost we really are. Hey, brother, can you move up so they don't knock over the camera?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Read this. This is the Most High. This is who we say he is. Read this.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. And the Most High said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel.
That's who we are. We are the children of Israel. Read. Of Negroid, primarily Negroid, Indian, and Latino descent. Read. Scattered among all nations. Read.
The Most High power of your fathers.
He says the Most High power of your fathers. Yours a personal possessive pronoun showing ownership. Not everybody. Read.
The power of Abraham.
Don't say God, because the Mashiach Yahushai called the Greeks are the ones that was the Romans that was ruling the world at the time. He called them dogs. So when you look at dog spelled backwards, you get what? God. So they the ones that put that in there. We said Allah. Read.
The power of Isaac.
Not Allah, but Allah. There's a difference. Read.
The power of Jacob. And the
power. Read it again. Who is the power of?
The power of Abraham. The power of Isaac. And the power of Jacob hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
So he said he's the power, which the world say God, of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob, and Jacob was the forefather of these 12 tribes of Israel, from Judah on down. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we say he is. So now when he left the conversation with the angel, Moses left the conversation with the angel, what did he tell him? To tell the elders of each one of these tribes that would tell each tribe the message from the Most High. Listen what he said.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 16. Go and gather the elders of Israel together.
So gather the elders of our 12 nations together, which make one nation, the children of Israel. Read.
And say unto them, the Most High power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you and seen that which is done to you in Egypt.
So now, who did Mashiach Yahushua identify him as? Matthew 22:32. So he the power of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob, who became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, coming from 2 men and 5 women. That's where we come from as a nation. Because Jacob had 4 wives, and Joseph had Ephraim and Manasseh when he was in Africa. Read this.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 32. I am the power of Abraham.
This is what the Mashiach Yahushua called him. Read.
And the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. The Most High is not the power of the dead, but of the living.
And we the living. Acts 3:13. So don't leave. Wait a minute. Don't go nowhere. Because I mean, I know you thinking a certain way. I want you to see. I want you to see. Don't. Because there are people always want to run. Don't run. Just listen. So you will know. Acts 3:13, man. Read that.
Acts chapter 3, Acts chapter 3, verse 13. The Most High power of Abraham, and of Isaac, and of Jacob, the power of our fathers, hath glorified his son, Hamashiach Yahushua, whom ye delivered up and denied him in the presence of Pilate when he was determined to let him go.
Wicked Israelites, man. Our wicked people gave him up to who? The Romans, who are who? The so-called Italian Caucasians, who are the ones that put the nails in his hands and his feet. The Romans, that's who did this. But see, our people read the Bible, they don't think about history. They don't think about what really went down. So now get Psalms 96 and 5. You asked about the other gods of all the other nations. This is what he said, the Bible says concerning the gods of the other nations. Psalms 96 and 5. And see, that's the problem that we have, because we have taken on the gods of the other nations. Being programmed. Read.
Psalm chapter 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
All the gods of the nations are what?
Idols.
Are idols. See, that's why I get Jeremiah 10 and 2. 1 and 2. This is what the Most High told us. And this is a lot of reason why we have the problems that we have in, like you said, religion, but religion comes from a Latin word, religio, which means to hold back, keep down, and restrain. You ever heard of a doctrine called amendment that they brought in 1620 called the Religious Instructions to the Negroes in the United States of America?
I never read that. Who was about?
It's about us so-called white people. I think it's James Cox or something like that. He the one created it, but what I'm saying is it was a diabolical plan of how they're going to program us to believe the way we believe today. I know you heard of the Willie Lynch letter, right?
I've heard of the Willie Lynch.
Right. So that came in 1620, the religious instruction to the Negroes of how they're going to show us how to get away from our power and to follow the power that they set up for us until this day. That's why you see him on the ground, and that's why you see our people have a much problem against we, as the children of Israel, saying that's the devil, deceitful and evil.
You figure if we knew more about ourselves, it would imbue us with some type of strength and encouragement to become more intellectual about ourselves, change our condition in America today. What do you think?
We're going to change our whole condition with the Most High. First, we got to learn his rules and regulations, his laws. See, we taught that we not under his laws, so you taught you don't have to follow the Most High.
Would a good and loving God curse ignorant people?
What do you mean ignorant? We wasn't ignorant. We the most intelligent people in the world. Who you think created everything mostly in this world? Invented everything.
Why we disobey God?
Because wicked. 2/3 of our people, everybody didn't disobey him.
Right.
But 2/3 of our people did, so we paid the cost for what the 2/3 did. Like now, the wickedness that our people are doing, that's why everybody suffer. Right? That's why we getting shot down and all the things, because we ain't coming back to the Most High. You look at it, they dealing with the young people. It's more of us in jail right now than was in prison as far as dealing with captivity in 1850. Now you figure.
A loving God would do that to us?
Yeah, but you thinking loving, but you don't know the Most High saying he's just loving. He's not. Are you just loving? If somebody come up right now, little dude come up there and it's pop you side your head, you just gonna take it, you gonna say,
I'm not God.
Yeah, but you are God. You are a God. You ain't him, but you are a God.
I would think that the Most High would be the apotheosis or the paradigm of any human being.
So
and
what scripture is that?
It's not a scripture.
Oh, so that's what I'm saying. So you done made up your own God. You done made up your own God. Because it's not in the scripture. We go by the Bible. This is him right here. This is what we talking about. Now it said all the gods of the nations are idols. So that's what you following. Idolatry. Because if it ain't here, it ain't about him.
Well, I figured that...
More people don't know him, man.
I figured that logic is the highest faculty attributed to human God.
Well, this is logic right here, the Bible, to me.
It's illogical to me. How could, how could somebody whoop 12...
What university did you go to?
I went to American Career College. I'm a nerd.
Okay, yeah. That's what they've done. Right.
And I studied history.
Get Colossians 2 and 8. You suffered philosophy, right? So let's see what it says, what the Colossians 2 and 8 says.
I don't know what suffered it, but
yeah, that's really what they have done to our people. Read.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Through what?
Philosophy and vain deceit. After the tradition of men.
After the tradition of who?
Men.
Not the Most High, right?
After the rudiments of the world.
Yeah, rudiments of the world. So
God,
these things.
How can I know these things?
And
listen.
And not after Hamashiach Yahushai.
Or the Most High. See, not after him, but after the rudiments of man. How man said it's supposed to be, and they don't know the Most High. Who you learning from, your curriculum that you learn from, they're never gonna know the Most High. Who we talking about? Who we come from? Huh?
How do they know man could?
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Through faith?
No, through understanding the word. Understand what he wants us to do. If you understand what he said, if you follow his rules and regulations, how you not gonna know him? Get Deuteronomy 28 and 1. This is what he told us, man. And that's the problem we in right now, because everybody say you can't do it. Right. But you read the books to be able to be a philosopher, right. But you ain't read the Bible with understanding, because you ain't had the right teacher to teach you how we are who we are. Now I ask you, what's your nationality? What you gonna tell me? Your race? African American. Africa was named after so-called white man, Leo Cipius Africanus. America named after another so-called white man, Amerigo Vespucci. So them two white men got together and created you. Race? No, you are who your father's seed is. Your father produced everything. You got a male tree and a female tree. You got everything as a male and female, everything, right? So this is how they have us programmed. Now you old enough to know that you weren't no African American in 1950 or 1960. You weren't no African American then, right? I could put some James Brown saying I'm black and I'm proud. We started saying we black at that time. What was we before that? We was Afro-American, right?
Who came up with the term Afro-American because he thought it was, it was appropriate for those who were, indigenous to Africa or born in America.
You see what I'm saying? But still, that's that's two different identities. I have 48 different identities when I ask brothers and sisters, what's your nationality? What's your race? For us, 48 different identities. I already have African American, everybody say that, so I already have, that's normal, you know what I mean? We already have that, but I'm just saying how we are the lost 12 tribes of Israel, point blank. Can't deny this. And the elite know this. That's why they spend billions of dollars to keep you and our people from knowing who we are every year. That's why they're not going to allow this to go out.
I remember when I was studying philosophy, I read a passage, and I'll never forget it. Was David Hume, who was a great philosopher. He said that the passion for philosophy, like that for religion, seems liable to this inconvenience. Though it aimed at the correction of our manners and the extirpation of our vices, it may only serve by improving management to foster a predominant inclination and push the mind with more determined resolution toward that side that already draws too much by the bias and propensities of the natural temper. Some people are going to believe it and some people are just not.
Yeah, sure.
Say that real well, but
that's what I'm saying.
That's pretty smart.
That's right. Right. What I'm saying, but that's good because that's philosophy. But that has nothing to do with bringing us together as a nation to be able to get ready for the kingdom that's prepared for us, man. We got next, point blank. I mean, we're the only people that you see this happen to prove that we the Israelites. Read this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1.
Look what the Most High told us.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So everybody ain't created equal. He said, you follow my commandments, you're going to show me that you love me, and I'm going to set you above all nations of the earth. And that's where we're at. We're coming back to his commandments. We're repenting, coming back to his commandments, and we're going to be set up above all nations of the earth. Read.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power.
We ain't taught that. You probably never heard that before. Not from no preacher or no one call themselves in the clergy. Read verse 15. This is what he said also. Listen.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come on thee, upon thee, and overtake thee.
Right. All these curses shall come upon us and overtake us. Now, what curse? Let's get to the, all right, so long. Let's get to the last curse. We from verse 16 all the way to 68, our curses befell certain people. Now, you tell me who this happened to. You can look down on the ground and see. It don't take much to figure this one out. Because it's going to be clear as day. Deuteronomy 28, 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he's saying going to bring us into Egypt again. What does Egypt mean? Exodus 20 and 2.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt means bondage, captivity, or slavery. So the Most High, go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 68 again.
And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he's going to bring us into captivity, slavery, and bondage another time, because the first time we walked into Egypt from Israel. You can walk into Egypt, Africa from Israel. He said, but he's going to bring us into captivity, slavery, and bondage another time. How?
With ships.
How?
With ships.
Learn that in philosophy? No. It said what?
With ships.
He's going to bring us in captivity, slavery, and bondage right there, man. You looking at it. How?
With ships.
With ships, read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
That's why we don't know anything about Israel. We don't know anything about Africa. We don't know about nothing. We right here in America, read.
And there,
when we go on these ships, where they going to take us on these ships, read.
Ye shall be sold unto your enemy.
To our friends?
Your enemies.
Be sold to our enemies for what?
For bondmen.
Slave men.
And bondwomen.
Slave women, read.
And no man shall buy you.
Nobody going to redeem us from the condition that the Most High put us in us for not following his laws, statutes, commandments, man. What people that happened to as a nation? It's us. That's us, man. We the ones that this happened to. Only ones. Nobody can gainsay on this, man. This is the real. Jeremiah 17 and 4. So we the children of Israel. And that's real. Those that want to hear, you know, and we not African. We come from Africa, that don't mean that you are those people, man. They ain't never come over here and said, come home, brother. They ain't never told you to come home. I want you to come back and see them. Jeremiah 17 and 4.
Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Get hold that. Get Deuteronomy 32 and 8 and 9. He said, we're going to discontinue from our heritage that he gave us. He gave us the land of Israel. We're the true people that belong in the land of Israel and is going back there. 1/3, I might say, because 2/3 not going. See, especially the ones been polluted by the way they have trained us to think. Because they make you individualists here. And we can't do nothing for each other. Because we don't come together as a people. Read this.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 8. When the Most High,
read.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam.
We didn't integrate everybody. Nowhere you're going to see where the Most High is about integration. What did he do?
Separated the sons of Adam.
He separated all the nations that he created. He separated the sons of Adam. So we all come from Adam. Read.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
So he set the bounds of the people, these other nations, according to the number of the people of our nation. The children of Israel. His people. Who we are. Of Negro, Indian, and Latino descent. Right here. But I'm looking at right down here in Skid Row, man. We the people